Thank you. You can be seated. We'd like to welcome you to our 2021 nursing pinning. I'm Kevin Finn, Dean of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Dean Finn. Welcome, everybody. Family, friends, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and trustees of Colby-Sawyer College, good afternoon, and welcome to the 2021 pinning ceremony for the School of Nursing and Health Sciences at Colby-Sawyer College. I'm Joan Loftus, and I'm the Chair and Director of Nursing here at Colby-Sawyer. On stage with me and Dean Finn are Dr. Sue Stubner, President of Colby-Sawyer College, and Professor Joan Huber. To begin the ceremony, I'd like to recognize members of the nursing faculty who are also seated in the audience. Please stand to be recognized when I call your name. Professor Ariana Anton, Professor Kim Belanger, Professor Nicole Chartier, Professor Anne Fournier, Professor Sherry Goldberg, Professor Jennifer Hall, Professor Robin LeBoeuf, Professor Kathleen Nunes, Professor Lisa Purvis, Professor Ben Reike, and Professor Courtney Rogers. We also welcome the many nurses who have served as preceptors and mentors to the students during their clinical rotations, as well as the many nurse leaders from our clinical partners, Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center and New London Hospital. Thank you for all of the coaching, mentoring, and support that you have given to our students. Now, please allow me to make a few comments about the Colby-Sawyer nursing class of 2021. They are truly a remarkable group. These students have completed a rigorous nursing program in the midst of a global pandemic. While no one could have predicted the scope and scale of challenges COVID-19 would present this year, these students have risen to meet them. They did so with an unwavering commitment and dedication to their studies and future profession. They have worked hard and learned much during their time here at Colby-Sawyer. At graduation time, faculty are asked to make a judgment as to whether the students have achieved the learning outcomes of the college. Is the student able to learn and use a broad body of knowledge with depth in their major field? Has the student enriched and deepened their self-knowledge? Can the student think creatively and critically, communicate effectively, and employ multiple perspectives when examining a problem or issue? And finally, does the student act ethically and professionally? During our time together, we have been evaluating these students using these guideposts. In the classroom and the clinical setting, our students have studied the art and science of nursing and have acquired the knowledge and skill to begin practicing the discipline of nursing. Their knowledge is indeed broad, and many have already begun to explore nursing specialties in depth. They have ably demonstrated their readiness for practice. Each has become a more reflective individual with a keenly developed sense of self. They know their strengths, which are many. They know where they will need to continue to grow, which is a truth of all professionals. Importantly, they have learned how to derive meaning from situations, experiences, and relationships that are new to them. These students have learned to communicate and relate to others as professionals. They know how to examine issues from many perspectives and have learned how to be both sensitive and non-judgmental when working with people whose beliefs, attitudes, and actions differ from their own. They have learned the importance of cultural competence in the provision of care. Finally, each of these students has demonstrated the ability to be an ethical and professional nurse. This past year in particular, they certainly have witnessed and experienced the many challenges and dilemmas that are present in our healthcare system today. They all have been able to identify experiences in their clinical work that have distressed them. And more importantly, they have been able to offer alternatives or solutions that might have created a better outcome for those patients and families. They are idealistic, they are hopeful. They have come to appreciate the great privilege and grave responsibility of being a nurse, both in the profession, in the provision of the quality of care, and as well as in the improvement of the healthcare system. So indeed, this group of nurses has met the learning outcomes of Colby-Sawyer College. In fact, they have done so with distinction, and we could not be more proud of them. Rachel Basil will now introduce our honored speaker.
Each year, the class chooses someone as its honored speaker, someone the students admire, someone who has contributed to their growth. This year, our class asked Joan Huber, professor and mentor, to speak to us.
Thank you, Rachel. President Stubner, Dean Finn, thrilled graduates, proud parents online, faculty, and friends of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences, welcome. Thank you for being part of such an exciting day. I would first like to thank the class of 2021 for the great honor of asking me to be their pinning speaker. You had many examples of excellent professional role models from which to choose. I'm flattered by your vote of confidence. I take the responsibility very seriously, and I will strive to live up to your expectations of excellence. Now, once the thrill wears off, I realize that this creates quite a challenge for me. The challenge is to say something that is memorable, concise, significant, motivating, and send you off with great inspiration and enthusiasm. I have exactly 8 minutes, okay? Because we have very important things to do today, so we don't want to spend time listening to me. So my work is cut out for me. I taught you pathophysiology, the study of disease processes in the body. I know that your catecholamine levels are elevated. Epinephrine, norepinephrine, GABA, and dopamine are coursing through your blood vessels. The epinephrine means you're ready to fight or flight, okay? You're excited and tense. Your hearts are racing, your blood pressure is elevated, and your attention span is extremely short, okay? The norepinephrine releases the 3-year-old in your brain. You're deliriously happy, and you're having trouble controlling it. The 3-year-old is going inside your head is going, look at me, I made it to pinning. The inhibitory transmitter known as GABA is telling your brains to slow down and don't get carried away. You're thinking, I don't want to get too excited. I have to remember when to stand, when to sit, where to walk, and what to say. I don't want to make a mistake or trip or embarrass myself, so I have to slow down. It is the voice of caution in your brain. The dopamine is your feel-good transmitter, making you feel really happy and euphoric, almost like a runner's high. So you are feeling excited, tense, delirious, cautious, and euphoric, all at the same time. You're a physiologic mess, okay? You have attention deficit right now and you can't focus at all. You're really not listening, and you won't remember anything that I say, okay? But as you know, I am not new to this situation. I tried to teach you the finer points of pharmacology, pathophysiology, and medical surgical nursing in 6 courses over the past 3 years. I've had you in class first thing in the morning, at midday, and late in the afternoon. This is what I know. You don't like morning classes, you don't like late classes, and you don't like long classes. That doesn't leave a lot, okay? I've seen your eyes roll back in your head. I have seen daydreaming and staring out the window. I've seen texting and emailing occur during my riveting discussion of neuromuscular chronic diseases. I've seen sleeping in the upright position, and I've seen some give up entirely and just put your head down flat on the desk and go to sleep. None of this has ever stopped me, mind you. I just power on through and hope you get it by osmosis and some physical force. But this sustained exposure that I've had to you means I also know all your routines, both good and bad. I am the academic advisor for a third of you and an informal advisor for the rest. I know your idiosyncrasies, your fears, your likes and dislikes, your vulnerabilities, and your bad habits. I know who the procrastinators are, the negotiators, the arguers, and the worriers. What I also know about this group is their tremendous compassion, determination, and persistence. Since your arrival on campus, you've engaged in every sort of activity while balancing your studies. There is no one seated here today who is exclusively a nursing student. We have athletes representing every team on campus. We have artists, musicians, dancers, academic tutors, clinical mentors, skills validators, residence hall leaders, and members of student government. And most of you are also currently employed while you're balancing all of this. You have worked hard to meet every challenge. Now, under the best of circumstances, it takes an awful lot of hard work to get to where we are today. But this group has met and dealt with the biggest challenge of all, COVID-19. You went off to spring break last year, and I said, everybody have a good time, okay? And you never came back. Now, nursing is a hands-on discipline, so unlike many of the others on campus, you couldn't just Zoom to your courses and call it a day. Under the remarkable leadership of Dr. Loftus, our director and chair of nursing, alternate clinical activities were identified, waivers from the Board of Nursing were requested, clinical instructors were mobilized, and she spent an awful lot of time arranging and managing an equivalent curriculum that would meet all of your needs and the requirements of our accrediting bodies. No small task, okay? And you didn't miss a beat. You turned to and rose to the challenge so that when you were able to return last fall, you were ready for the advanced senior experiences and clinical activities. You were nothing short of amazing. Now that is grit and resilience. Over your time at Colby-Sawyer, you have evolved from a group of strangers to acquaintances, to friends, and as we sit here today, to family. You are a family of 40 siblings. You learned along the way that no one can do it alone, that many hands make lighter work, that you can draw strength from each other, and that everyone has something to contribute. This family that you have formed is supportive, protective, and nurturing. Now, does that mean you're all homogeneous, in sync, and totally compatible? Absolutely not. Like real brothers and sisters, you bicker and compete, fight for attention, confront each other, push each other, and place demands on each other. Woe to the classmate who isn't playing well with others or sharing their toys. You will rein in anyone getting an inflated perception of themselves and demand that anyone not carrying their fair share of responsibility step up and engage. But you can finish each other's sentences and you laugh at yourselves continuously. Our Monday afternoon classes have been quite entertaining. You have learned great tolerance for each other's idiosyncrasies, and you have really come to appreciate and respect each other. Do you all want the same thing? Oh my, no. In this class, we have some who will venture as far away as Tennessee and Florida, while others will stay right here in the local area and put your roots down in the upper valley. You are all gravitating to different disciplines in nursing and to different practice settings. There will be widespread dissemination of the class of 2021. Some of you are already feeling the twinges of separation anxiety. You are so bonded together that heading off on your own is a bit intimidating. Another factor that has made this class interesting for me is that for the first time in my teaching career, I had a member of my own family in the class. This has made life very interesting from a teaching perspective. I've been scrupulous about not showing any favoritism, probably going a little too far in the opposite direction, for which I apologize. Okay. I appreciate the support of my faculty colleagues who read and graded papers and projects for me to avoid any bias. I found myself at a very strange intersection of the faculty and family roles. I'm a family member with way too much knowledge about the curriculum, and a faculty member with way too much knowledge of the extracurricular activities, okay? I found myself saying, you're gonna go where on spring break? When you have a project due that's worth 25% of your grade? Really? Is that such a good idea? I can't tell you how many times in the past 4 years, right up to last weekend, that I've started a sentence with, do you really think that's such a good idea? Or my other favorite, no, I'm not going to tell you anything about that. Fortunately, we have both survived and have arrived at the culmination of the academic experience relatively unscathed. When you left your nuclear family to head off to college, you experienced that combination of excitement and dread. The same holds true now. You will feel the pull in both directions, attracted to something new and exciting, but hating to leave the comfort of the relationships and people that you know. Fear not. The larger family of nursing is ready and waiting to embrace you. You are about to join the extended family of colleagues and coworkers who will become your cousins. We have all been there and know how to help you with the transition. But just like when you left your family to go off to college, you didn't lose touch with them. As you go off to meet the extended family of the nursing profession, stay in touch with your Colby-Sawyer siblings. You will continue to draw strength from each other, be there for each other, and I would invite you to look around you today at the rest of the crowd. These are your confidants, your wedding attendants, your financial advisors, your marital counselors, your life coaches, and your future children's godparents. This is for life. Today marks the end of your lives as students, and you are about to begin your professional life. You are the newest additions to the family of nursing professionals. Those of us who have been around a while are thrilled that you are joining us as friends and colleagues. We are a little jealous of your new and up-to-date knowledge, your comfort with technology, and your exuberance. We will share with you our lessons learned through experience, and we hope you will share with us your insights, energy, and your shiny new skills. You arrived here 4 years ago as untested adolescents, and look at you now. Your parents would say you are not the same person. Celebrate where you have been and how far you have come. Be good Colby-Sawyer alumni. It has been a nurturing environment for you and is launching you out into the world with all the tools you need for success. Come back for reunions and stay in touch with each other and the faculty. You have grown together and your lives are irretrievably entwined. Don't lose that. I know you will leave us this week to go out into the world and be amazing nurses, reliable employees, good citizens, and wonderful alumni of Colby-Sawyer. You will definitely make your mark on the profession. Now, as Dr. Loftus outlined earlier, there are certain criteria that we look at when we're determining whether or not you have met the requirements of the program. But one of the criteria, additional criteria that the faculty use to evaluate you as you have moved through the curriculum is to ask ourselves, would I want this student to care for me or my family? Are they safe enough, competent enough, self-aware enough? I can confidently say that I would trust any one of you to care for me, so be on the lookout, okay? I may be your patient someday, and I will ask you lots of questions. Although Brianna and Kendra in OB, Riley and Alex in the intensive care nursery, and Rachel and Emily in pediatrics don't look for me, okay? If I end up as your patient, we're all in a hurt locker, okay? So as I've told you many times before, onward, Go forth and do good things. Good luck, happy Nurses Week, and congratulations to the class of 2021.
Thank you, Professor Huber. The pinning ceremony is a tradition of the nursing profession. I'd like to share with you all the history of the pin and the significance of the ceremony. The origins of the nursing pin can be traced back to the Crusades of the 12th century. When the Knights of Malta left for the Holy Land, they were accompanied by monks who tended the soldiers' wounds after battle. They wore the Maltese cross on the back of their cassocks as a means of identifying them on the field of battle as healers and not soldiers. The Red Cross symbol also can be traced back to these origins. As centuries passed, the privilege of a coat of arms was extended to craft guilds and schools. When Bellevue Hospital convened its first class of nurses in 1873, a member of the Board of Trustees suggested that first-year students wear a badge and that head nurses wear a medal to signify their different ranks. This had been the practice in military hospitals during the Civil War. The concept of a school pin evolved from there and was presented for the first time in 1880. But why do we do this at all? Why have a pin or a ceremony? Throughout time and across cultures, human beings have marked transitions in their lives with ritual and ceremony. The purpose is not just to celebrate and honor those persons whose lives have changed. The purpose is also to serve public notice that those changed persons now play a different role in the life of their community. Traditionally, our rites of passage are accompanied by some tangible evidence, by something that we can see and touch, by physically marking the person who is changed. The purpose of the pinning ceremony is to recognize that your relationship with your community has changed. We mark your transition from layperson to healer, from student to professional, from one who is served to one who serves. I find it fitting that the Colby-Sawyer motto, Parate Serve, means prepared to serve. As Colby-Sawyer nurses, you carry forth the mission of the college. The seal of the college with this motto is your coat of arms, your pin. In the center are the Latin words mens corpus animus, mind, body, and spirit. Indeed, we are not true healers if we do not care for all three. These words form a triangle around a Greek lamp, the traditional symbol of knowledge. Wear your coat of arms, your pin proudly. It identifies you not just as Colby-Sawyer graduates, but as nurses in a long tradition of men and women across cultures and centuries who have dedicated their lives to caring for others. Today, you will also recite an oath of service, another tradition with ancient origins. The Colby-Sawyer nursing oath integrates the timeless values you have inherited from the past with our vision for the future. It is based on the Hippocratic Oath, the original Nightingale Oath, and the values of the college and the School of Nursing and Health Sciences. We will now present the pins to our graduating nurses.
Rachel Caroline Basile. Avery Betcha. Chad Kenneth Bernard. Carly Eliza Boudreau. Avery Caroline Brennan. Emily Calise. Margaret J. Carter. Riley Lynn Chevalier. Brianna Nicole Couture. Alyssa Ray DeMarinis. Kaylee Demitrazic. Marielle Eve Dupre. Maria Elizabeth Gap. Alexandria Marie Giesing. Jonathan David Glidden. Janae Ann Jang. Samantha Jacqueline Lacombe. Abigail Jane Ladd. Macy LePan. Erica Leland. Stephanie Luce. Kendra Elizabeth Martin. Lauren Michelle Massey. Nicole S. Macheski. Sarah Joyce Morin. Elizabeth Lucia Knott. Nikki Palmer. Samuel Pushy. Callan Elizabeth Reese. Isabella Mary Robinson. Leah Robley. Lauren Rachel Roschow. Garrett James Scahill. Molly Rose Schilling. William Daniel Schmidline. Ariana H. Sullivan. Catherine Rose Sutton. Tierney Grace Thompson. Casey Lynn Wilson. Emily Rose Woodward. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2021.
The nursing class of 2021 will take their pledge, led by Riley Chevrolet.
I solemnly pledge myself in the presence of this assembly to faithfully practice the art and science of nursing. I will provide care where care is needed and tend the environment in which care occurs. I will center my practice on the welfare of all of those in my care, honoring the fullness of their humanity. I will hold in confidence all personal matters committed to my keeping. I will refrain from any action that will do harm. I will maintain the standards of my profession through disciplined inquiry and scholarship, and by embodying the integrity expected of me by my peers and those I serve.
Please be seated. Each class chooses a member to give their farewell remarks at the pinning ceremony. This year, the class has chosen Avery Betcha.
Hello, my fellow graduates, faculty, family, and friends. It is my honor to give a speech on behalf of the graduating class of 2021. Before I begin, I want to personally thank Dr. Loftus, Dean Finn, and all other nursing faculty for your guidance and knowledge over the last 4 years. I also want to take a quick moment to thank my 4 roommates, Quinn, Will, Sam, and John, for being there with me throughout this whole nursing school journey, as well as my siblings and parents, without whom I would not be here. Now, when I thought about writing this speech, there are many different avenues that I thought of taking. I wanted to authentically represent our nursing class in the best way possible. After careful consideration, I decided to describe our 4-year-long journey through my eyes. First off, let's start with freshman year. I will never forget how terrified I was when Professor Huber gathered us all in Sawyer during our orientation, telling us that the way we knew how to learn was a thing of the past, and that we had to learn how to study in a completely different way. Oh, and don't forget, we needed an 80% or higher to pass each of our courses. At the time, I was just a goofy-looking 18-year-old kid who had quite honestly never studied for an exam in my life. That being said, we all got through the dreaded microbiology during our first year and began to learn the new way of studying nursing in Nursing 203. Then in year 2, we got the pleasure of working with Professor Scott in Health Assessment and Fundamentals, where I admittedly stuck myself with an insulin needle on my very first attempt. But hey, what a better place to stick yourself with a needle than in the lab, right? Who could forget our first clinical and simulation experience? All of us terrified nursing students putting on the seal blue scrubs for the first time and putting way too much thought into the preclinical prep for 5+ hours the night before. For those of you who are unaware, I'm not exactly the biggest morning person, so the first time I ever woke up at 4:50 a.m. was a nightmare that my roommate Sam could attest to. I think perhaps the most memorable year, however, was our junior year. Junior year was when the nickname Four Corners was coined for Will, John, Sam, and I, courtesy of Professor Huber, who we all know means business. Fall semester junior year was great. Some of us went through specialties. I think Professor Belanger, or as we like to call her, Kimbo, still tells stories of our class that happened to be her first, and for sure, her favorite. Others took Med-Surg, one with Professor Huber, which I think is one of the most crucial courses here at Colby-Sawyer. This was also when some of us met the great Dr. Fournier. I still remember hearing stories right off the bat of her refreshing teaching style and phenomenal stories. And I must not forget to mention Dr. Loftus, who taught us all nursing research, which I know we all loved. We definitely owe her a big thank you for dealing with us during that class. I cannot speak today without mentioning second semester junior year, when COVID first affected Colby-Sawyer and the world as a whole. As a nursing class, we journeyed through the most difficult semester while learning how to become nurses. One of the great beauties of nursing is the ability to impact patients through therapeutic touch and face-to-face contact. We had to adapt and learn nursing through a computer screen, which I can say was one of the most challenging things I've encountered during school here. I mean, I don't know about everyone else, but I just remember doing virtual MedPass simulation and getting 75% done with the simulation and my computer just deciding to give up on working. I will never forget Zoom classes in clinical. We were fortunate to have Dr. Fournier teaching us about community nursing at a time where we needed to come together as a charter community. Now, the great senior year. Oh, how lovely it has been. I have to say, fall semester seemed like it went by very fast. I think for the most part, for most of us, that semester was just about putting our heads down and pushing through to get to the other side. Spring semester, though, it has for sure been a good one. Whether it was NCLEX prep every week, where I think I almost forgot to do my homework at least 4 times. Also, side note, John, just because I know you may have forgot, you are applying for your NCLEX license in New Hampshire. Or capstone, where it felt like our projects were ever-changing but still important. And last but not least, Dr. Fournier's class, where we shared some laughs, some tears, and some very important knowledge that I will carry with me forever. I will never forget the lecture when we discussed poor depiction of nurses in the media. The music video by 50 Cent with Dr. Fournier's commentary is something that I think will forever make me laugh. And last but not least, I think I'm still on a sugar rush from the amount of candy I ate during our last class with Dr. Fournier to celebrate our accomplishments. Yes, we took the rest of the Sour Patch Kids back to our apartment, and yeah, they were gone in a week. I think I could speak endlessly about the memories that we have made during our time in nursing school. We have stressed to the point of tears, laughed out of sheer overtiredness, and learned, although they tried to get rid of Kathy Parks, she still remains one of the greatest nursing tutors of all time. We have learned how to care for our clients using compassion, empathy, respect, and evidence-based practice. While our nursing school journey is coming to a close, our journey of lifelong learning as a nurse has just begun. Colby-Sawyer is truly a special place, and it most definitely has made us the best possible new graduate nurses we can be. I cannot thank this place enough for the knowledge, memory, and lifelong friends. All right, this next part, bear with me. There's one person, however, I think we must not forget to thank, and that is Professor Huber. Professor Huber, I speak for the entire class when I say thank you. You have taken young, little, naive first-year nursing students and molded us into the well-prepared future nurses that sit here today. The way that you teach is unmatched. You engage your students constantly and teach in a way that allows everyone to truly understand the content. You tell the most remarkable stories that depict just how great of a nurse you are. Most importantly, however, you care. You truly wanted us all to succeed, and you saw to it with your tough love and unwavering structure. Colby-Sawyer will most definitely miss you now that you are retiring, but you have left behind the perfect structure for its success in the future. You've educated many of the faculty that now educate others here, and you have shown every professor here what it means to give your all to your students every single day. Now, Professor Hubert, I know you have been planning our discharge from the moment we set foot on campus in 2017, so I'll wrap it up now, and I'll leave you this quote from Florence Nightingale. Let us never consider ourselves finished nurses. We must be learning all of our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Avery. I'd like to introduce President Sue Stubner, who will present the Grace Adela Sheldon Graves Award, the Nursing Baccalaureate Award, to a member of the nursing class who best exemplifies the qualities and characteristics of a Colby-Sawyer nurse. The award presentation will be followed by President Stubner's special remarks for our graduates.
Sure is hard to top those two. What two great speeches. It's my honor to give out the Grace Adela Sheldon Graves Award, which, as Joan said, is the Department of Nursing's highest honor and is awarded to a graduating senior who best exemplifies the qualities and characteristics of a Colby-Sawyer nurse. This year's winner is Jonathan D. Glidden. A resident of Westford, Mass., John personifies the characteristics of caring, professionalism, advocacy, leadership, and involvement. A well-rounded student and leader, he has been a member of the men's basketball team, the Student Nurses Association, and Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society of Nursing. He is a Dean's List student who assists underclass students as a nursing skills validator in the nursing lab, as a peer mentor, and as an orientation leader in the college's first-year orientation program. He has been a volunteer teaching assistant in microbiology, where he excels at helping first-year students grasp difficult concepts while encouraging them to succeed. Always the first to step forward, John volunteered at flu immunization clinics at the college and as an admission tour guide. He assisted with recruiting events both at the college and at Dartmouth Medical Center. An influential role model for students considering nursing, he was selected by the faculty as a nursing program student spokesperson for college marketing materials. The epitome of a Colby-Sawyer nurse, John is employed as a clinical nursing assistant while balancing his academic and extracurricular activities. John has found his calling and his passion in pediatric oncology nursing and will be sharing his considerable talent at Boston Children's Hospital after graduation. Congratulations, John. To all of our graduating nurses today, congratulations to each of you. This pinning ceremony is a ritual that signals to the world that you are prepared for your profession not only as a nurse, but most importantly, as a Colby-Sawyer nurse. Graduates, your hard work and determination are major factors in your being here today. Yet I also know you had a number of people who helped you along the way get to this point. I'd like to especially thank the Colby-Sawyer nursing faculty who combine a powerful mix of considerable knowledge, a relentless pursuit of high expectations, an inspiring commitment to how the profession can positively impact individuals and communities, and a profound desire to support our students in their successes. I thank each of them for being tremendous role models for our students, for their tireless mentorship and support, and for their belief in what our students are and can become. Thank you, faculty, for all you do to help make Colby-Sawyer's nursing program one of the best in New England. Another partner that's been critical to your success has been our relationship with Dartmouth-Hitchcock Health System. Colby-Sawyer is proud to be known as the health system's School of Nursing. As many of you know, Dr. Reeves served as a longtime nursing faculty member and the first dean of the School of Nursing and Health Professions. Today, Susan serves as Executive Vice President for our partner, Dartmouth-Hitchcock. Last fall, Dr. Reeves was asked to describe the nurses at Dartmouth-Hitchcock, and she said, "Our nurses are proud, compassionate, and resilient. They demonstrate these attributes not only in times of crisis, but every day in how they provide care for our patients, families, and their colleagues." When I read the piece, I could not help but think that Dr. Reeves was also describing Colby-Sawyer nurses, and not just because so many of our graduates continue on professionally to Dartmouth-Hitchcock. I thank Dr. Reeves, Deb Hastings, and so many other professionals and clinical faculty members who have taken time to shape the clinical training of our students. To our graduates, the way you have approached your education here epitomizes caring for the whole person. You have excelled in the classroom. You have faced challenges with determination, and you have led our organizations and been active participants on campus, and you have managed jobs and your studies. In a 2010 address to the American Nurses Association, President Obama said, "America's nurses are the beating heart of our medical system." Acclaimed poet and writer Maya Angelou, whose mother was a nurse, said, "As a nurse, we have the opportunity to heal the mind, soul, heart, and body of our patients, their families, and ourselves. They may forget your name, but they will never forget how you make them feel." As Colby-Sawyer's president, so many people in this region have shared their stories of loved ones whose lives have been changed for the better thanks to compassionate, patient, and expertly trained Colby-Sawyer nurses. As nurses, you will be part of people's milestones, births and deaths, illnesses and recoveries. You, like those who have come before you here at Colby-Sawyer, will leave a lasting impact on those you serve. I am confident, thanks to your combination of professional knowledge, your compassion and care for the complete person, and just the right dose of Colby-Sawyer spunk, that no matter the situation, your patients will remember how you make them feel. I am confident you are ready to become the part of the heartbeat of the medical system wherever your path may lead you. Class of 2021, thank you for making our college community better. Thank you for your willingness to share your enormous talents with your profession as a Colby-Sawyer nurse. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, President Stubner. As we conclude today's ceremony, I'd like to acknowledge all nurses joining us today. National Nurses Week begins each year on May 6th and ends on May 12th, Florence Nightingale's birthday. Even before the coronavirus crisis, the World Health Organization had declared 2020 as the year of the nurse and midwife, in recognition of Florence Nightingale's 200th birthday. Nightingale made her mark on the world by caring for patients under extraordinary circumstances. 2 centuries later, nurses are honoring her legacy in ways none of us could have foreseen. And so the World Health Organization has extended the Year of the Nurse and Midwife into 2021. Please join me in acknowledging all of our nurses joining us today for all they do. This concludes the pinning ceremony for the class of 2021. On behalf of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences and students, thank you for joining us today.